So I am apologizing in case you guys were not able to see us a few minutes ago. We were live streaming. It was showing up on our Zoom as live streaming. And for some reason, I was hearing that we're not showing up on the San Francisco page. So here we are again, and John played this beautiful song that probably only Betty and I got to hear. So he has agreed to play it again, and then we will start again with the talk. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, I did just check. We are live, so. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. I honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. And allow it to be. And so it is. By the way, that's from Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, the text. So many years ago, I spoke to the publisher, and they said, "Go ahead and use it. You know, if you become a million seller, then let us know." Which maybe now it will. It's out on the internet.
That was beautiful. Yes, thank you. So glad that you used that one. And it's perfect for this talk this morning. And don't we need to be in the present moment when we have technical issues and can't get online and people are wondering if we're actually doing a service or not. And Betty did such a beautiful meditation. So if there's some way I can recover the piece that is lost in the ethers, I will look for it and see, because it did say we were live. I just don't know where it was or where it was going. So here we are. Good morning and welcome to San Francisco Center for Spiritual Living's joyful celebration of spirit, where all are welcome, accepted, and loved. And especially, you know, exactly how you are. My name is Reverend Lisa Hamilton, and I'm here with you on the fourth Sundays of each month. Today's monthly theme is celebrating divine truth, and the weekly theme is making magic. So I was thinking about magic and the definition I have for it, but wondering how it's actually defined in the dictionary. And I was wondering how it's defined in comparison with the word illusion. Because sometimes I've seen them used interchangeably, and in my mind, they have two totally different meanings. So here are the definitions that I found on a Google search. Illusion is a thing that is or likely to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by the senses, a deceptive appearance or impression. Magic is the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. Supernatural attributed Supernatural is attributed to some force beyond understanding or the laws of nature. Science endeavors to understand the laws of nature, and it has done an amazing work to bring us to new levels of understanding and abilities. But understanding the laws of nature is like understanding God. We can continue to build a deeper understanding. We can use descriptions that point to God, but nobody has been able to fully and accurately describe infinite spirit. Do I think that God is supernatural though? Maybe. But I wouldn't really use the description God is beyond understanding or beyond the laws of nature. I think part of what God is understanding. I think it is the laws of nature, and it is so much more than that. And it's what we call magic. Illusion then is like a condition or an appearance. It's something that appears to be real, but is not reality at all. This is what entertainment does. Entertainment in the form of magicians, movie productions, TV shows, video games, advertisements, social media, and so forth do. They create illusions through special effects, through stunts, through a sort of hypnosis. They create the illusion of magic. And we really want to experience magic. It makes us feel alive and powerful and gives us hope. The problem with our preoccupation with illusion is that it takes us in exactly the opposite direction from magic. Instead of empowering us, it disempowers. Watching somebody else's interpretation of and dramatization of magic leaves me feeling empty. It leaves me feeling a longing that can never be fulfilled, because instead of fully living in the magic of my own life, I am living in the illusion of someone else's interpretation of magic. And the pushing and pulling of my emotions that keeps me hooked, cliffhanger after cliffhanger after cliffhanger, in someone else's fantasy. Their goal is to hook me. Their goal is for me to watch because it serves someone's agenda. They have a product they want me to buy, or they have a belief they want me to believe. And they are quite successful in their goal of harvesting my attention. But if I want to truly, fully live this amazing, magical life I have been given, and I'm not saying don't watch TV or movies occasionally. I mean, they can be a really fun pastime, but if I really want to truly uh, fully experience this amazing life, if I want to experience the real magic that is in and all around me, I need to collect my full attention and focus and place my awareness on my own life and my own experience of this big and beautiful world. Magic can happen from within, and it can happen from the outside in. We can experience it from the outside. Either way, you must be present to win. You must be present. Magic doesn't happen in the past or in the future. Magic is happening right now. And I had an interesting response to the weekly theme for today, making magic, because I don't believe we have to do anything to make it happen. It's happening now. I believe we tune into the experience of it, to interact with it, to co-create with it. It is a natural part of our lives. It doesn't seem like a natural and normal part sometimes. And if it doesn't seem like a natural and normal part of your life, maybe it's because you haven't learned to tune into the frequency of it, or maybe you're distracted and you're just not tuning into the frequency of it right now, which is something that happens to me too. And so we have become disconnected from our natural world. We have become disconnected from the moment. We have tuned into the drama of news, of TV, of the pretend worlds in television shows, the pretend magic and special effects. We are addicted to social media, and so many of us are addicted to our little mini computers here. And some of us are addicted to just having daily drama in our lives. There are so many people that are addicted to the daily drama of their lives. I used to be a drama addict, and created my own problems constantly. So instead of looking for the things that were right in my world, I was looking for everything that was wrong. And and I had an opinion about how everyone else should do things. And I would enlist people to join me and criticize. And this is what I see a lot of people doing still. There's no better place than on Facebook to see this. People criticize people, businesses, organizations, political parties, you name it. And they don't really care if they have the whole picture or not. And they don't even remember that there's another human being on the other side of this technology, on the other side of our comments that we leave on Facebook. And they're ready to offer their opinions and their advice and their criticisms freely and often. And instead of doing their own work around their own consciousness, they run around giving unsolicited advice and opinions. They may tell themselves that they are doing a service, but is it really a service? Or would it be more of a service to do something that so few people do, which is pointing out the things that are being done well, the things that are being done right, instead of looking at and pointing out the things that are still being worked out, maybe that are still people are still working on. And maybe send a personal note to share their insights and ideas, framed in love and kindness, instead of posting everywhere. Because it is very likely that that person or that business or that organization most likely knows what they need to improve, or they have ideas about what they want to improve. And if they don't, they'll ask. I'm tempted to give my advice often, and sometimes I just need to vent to a friend. And so what I like to do sometimes is I say, if I were Queen of the United States, I would blah, blah, blah. And that is so helpful, just saying it out loud, because in saying it out loud, I realize that I probably don't have the whole story. And who knows if my plan would really work out any better than the plan that's happening, because I have no idea what the vision is, or what they're trying to accomplish, or who they are really. So isn't that great? My advice isn't always helpful or useful or wanted or needed. And that's actually kind of freeing. I don't have to go around trying to fix everything, because that takes my attention. That takes work for me to run around and try to fix what's wrong with the world all the time. And it just makes me think of this acronym. Have you ever heard of this acronym? Now I can't really, since I'm doing the talk, I can't really interact with you guys in the comments, but you guys can interact with each other. But have you ever heard of this acronym? I know you have. I don't even know who wrote it. It's THINK. THINK. And the idea is, before you speak, think. T, is it true? H, is it helpful? I, is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? K, is it kind? And this could be dangerously subjective, because we could easily just jump to thinking, of course it is, or I wouldn't say it at all. But but when I slow down and really think about it, maybe one of those things, maybe it's just not necessary. Maybe it's kind and it's true and it's all of those things, but maybe it's just not necessary and it's not mine to say. So if we sit down and consider carefully and empathize beyond our own opinions and ask ourselves, is this something that is true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind? If other people would see it that way before we say it. If not, I can just keep it to myself, let it go, and be about my business. And this brings me back to the present moment, right? This is brings me back to collecting my attention again and bringing myself present, because I'm not out there trying to figure somebody else's stuff out. The media and politicians and corporations and all of the stuff going on out there that is competing for our attention, our own addiction to drama sometimes, that's all competing for the one commodity that we have. The one commodity is our attention. We can put our attention wherever we choose. That is our superpower. So with our attention completely consumed and occupied, we are left impotent. We've lost our superpowers. It's like kryptonite. We need our full attention to have presence of mind, to be present to this moment. And what did I say earlier about experiencing magic? You must be present to win. You must be present. You must be here, right now, and right now, and right here, and right now, right here, and right now. This is magic. This is magic from the inside. We are in command of our attention, and we are in the moment. And from here, we're able to access the universal intelligence, because we have come to a place of stillness. The Bible says, be still and know. Be still means stop talking. I tell myself, stop talking. You can see so much when you stop talking. Even in the chaos, you can see so much when you stop talking. So I stop talking, I quiet the mind, I collect my scattered attention, focus on the moment, stay focused on the present. And from here comes the knowing. And from here comes the knowing what to say. And from here comes the knowing how to act, what to do next. That is magic. We don't get all of the answers sometimes. In fact, in my experience, I don't get the answers really ever at all. I just have the answer for the moment. I don't have the whole path laid out for me, and I can see it from beginning all the way to end. I get the next step. I don't really get to see how it's all going to work out. and the road sometimes winds, and I don't even know if I'm going to get there or not, but I have to trust. I have to have faith and trust, and those are really important ingredients and elements of magic. How do you build faith and trust? By staying in the present moment, by taking little steps and noticing that when you get to a certain point where you need more information, where you need help, where you need resources, where you need more something, it shows up for me. It shows up for you. When you get to a point where you can't see the road any longer, help shows up. You see, we are on a need to know basis with God, with the infinite spirit, with whatever you want to call it, with magic. You get information. I get information. We get information as we need to know it, and not usually before. That is why magic seems so extraordinary when it's really a normal part of life available to everyone. So few are really present to experience it. So maybe occasionally something huge happens in a person's life, something like a death, something like a birth. It shakes and wakes them up. Or maybe falling in love. Lots of amazing things happen when people fall in love, lots of magical things. Or maybe a breakup. Those can be so powerful, falling apart of some sort. And this could catapult a person smack into the present moment through pain or through elation. It doesn't matter. It gets you present. And they experience a miracle, some amazing magic, because they're in the present moment. Just about everyone has experienced something like this, right? And it's great because then we know how to spot it when it shows up for us. We know what to look for. We know what it's supposed to look like. And we don't really need the cosmic 2x4 to get us there. Sometimes it's the first thing that gets us there, or it's a thing that gets us there when we haven't been there for a while. But we know all we need to do is bring ourselves present, and the magic of life shows up for us, inside and out. We can learn to be fully present. We have so many practices to help us with this, like meditation and yoga and music and art and gardening and nature. Things that make us forget about the past and future. Things that we can be absorbed in. Things that still the mind or bring us into that space of silence and focused attention and focused listening. What are we listening to? Whatever is happening in the moment. We're listening to whatever is happening in the moment. There's power in this. We're listening to the sounds of birds, the wind, the rain, the sirens, the buses driving by, the bees buzzing, the distant airplane in the sky, silence, the song of the universe, the person right there sitting across from you, talking to you. Are you scrolling through Facebook when you're on the phone or on Zoom with people? Are you making lists in your head? Or are you fully present to every single word that they are saying? When was the last time you just listened to a person without formulating your own judgments or opinions or assessments or responses while they were talking? Magic happens when you listen to a person, to nature, to the silence. Pay attention. Are you listening now? If you want magic in your life, learn to listen deeply. Practice on people, and then you'll be ready to listen to the universe. A few days ago on Christmas, it was raining, and this Christmas was a bit challenging because my sister's soulmate passed away about 6 weeks ago. And my mom's brother, my uncle, passed away the day after solstice this year, December 21st. And just so you're wondering or being distracted about these deaths, they had nothing to do with COVID-19. So anyway, this was a strange and difficult and different Christmas for us this year. It was raining, and I love the rain, but there was also another kind of darkness over my mother's house, my parents' house. And so I offered to go on a drive with anyone who wanted to go out in nature in the comfort and warmth of my car. And my sister took me up on this adventure. So off we went. We were just going to head out with no agenda. And we started down the road, and I asked my sister if she had ever made the trip out to Calistoga that she had been planning a few days before. And she said she had not. So I decided that was the direction we were going to head in. And so as we started down the road, she started talking to me about deep realizations that she was having through her grieving process, about being present through it all, so much pain and so much magic happening at the same time. And as she was talking and I was listening deeply and driving, I got distracted and took a wrong turn. And she said, "Oh, well, don't worry about it. We can just go to Healdsburg." But something in me did not feel Healdsburg. It wasn't going to happen for me. And normally I would have said, yes, let's just go there. It's the way the car was deciding to go. So we're probably supposed to go there anyway instead. But something in me said, no, 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 we're not going. And I really feel like we're going to Calistoga. So I turned the car around and took a different route to Calistoga than I usually would have taken. I would have taken a totally different road, but there are more than one road to Calistoga. So off we went. And I was deeply listening. Our energies, my soul's energy and my sister's soul's energies were influencing our direction. And it was where we needed to go. So here we go. And we knew nothing would be open in Calistoga. It was Christmas and there's COVID, right? So nothing's open. But we weren't going there for the destination. We were going for the journey. We were going for a ride. We were going on what my sister calls her back roads. She likes to go on the back roads. And a few minutes down the road, we're having a conversation. I'm listening deeply to what she has to say. And my sister all of a sudden says, "Look over there." And she points across the road on my side of the car. And she said, "Over there, it's a coyote." And I slowed down and noticed the coyote running alongside the car on the other side of the road. And I looked behind me in the rearview mirror and there were no cars. So I stopped right in the middle of the road. And the coyote just headed a few steps further off the road and turned and looked over her shoulder at us. So she's looking over her shoulder. I'm stopped and she's gazing into both of our eyes. And it seemed like an eternity, this gaze. It was amazing. And I broke the gaze for a moment to check the rear view, and cars started approaching, and I re-engaged with the coyote's gaze for a moment, touched my finger to the glass window as she stared back at us. And I slowly pulled away, and at the same time that I pulled away, the coyote, she turned and disappeared into the forested area, into the woods. And we received the message. We received the message. Thank you. That's magic. That's magic. That's how your inner and outer world can interact and experience the magic that is always happening. Only we don't always notice. That magic was meant for me and it was meant for my sister. If I hadn't listened deeply, we would not have been in the area that the coyote was in. We would not have gone down that road. And if my sister wasn't there to spot it, I would have never seen it. We were both tuned in and we were both awake to the magic of the world together. This was not the first time something like this has happened when we were together somewhere. When when two or more are awake, there's magic. It was so amazing. And magic happens when we're alone too. Nature is such an amazing place to experience magic. If you are having magician's block, then just go out into nature and you will definitely have a good chance at experiencing magic. Just be present in the moment out in nature. There's even magic in dirt. So don't ever say that you're dirt poor, because if you have dirt, you are definitely rich beyond imagination. Do you know why? In dirt or in soil, there is this bacteria called Mycobacterium vaccae. The first strain of this bacteria was found in cow dung. So cow dung is magical too, right? So this is really crazy, right? There's magic everywhere. I'm not kidding. So yeah. So it was first discovered in cow dung, but it's also found in soil. And I first discovered this amazing fact when I was ordering my earthworms, which I ordered some earthworms so that I could compost all of these organic vegetable produce scraps that I have, because I eat lots of fruit and vegetables. And so anyway, in my research, I don't know exactly how I found information on this bacteria, Mycobacterium vaccae. I know you want to say it with me. Mycobacterium vaccae. It makes you sound so cool and smart. And you can just drop this little phrase at a dinner party somewhere, sometime when you're out in the world, when COVID's over, and you will get everyone's attention because you will sound so amazing. So anyway, Mycobacterium vaccae is a natural antidepressant. It stimulates serotonin production, which relaxes us and makes us happier. How's that for magic? Psychopharmacology Journal called it a stress vaccine because it quells stress-related disorders. This is what it is said about it in ScienceDaily.com. British scientist David Strawn first proposed the controversial hygiene hypothesis in 1989, suggesting that in our modern sterile world, lack of exposure to microorganisms in childhood was leading to impaired immune systems and higher rates of allergies and asthma. Researchers have since refined that theory, suggesting that it is not lack of exposure to disease-causing germs at play, but rather to old friends, beneficial microbes in soil and in the environment that we have long lived aside. And that mental health is also impacted. You see, we used to live so close to the earth. We live inside now with windows to close and floors to clean and inside gyms that we can work out in, and we get our food from stores that are all bleached down. And I know not all of us, some of us can shop at farm stands, but so many of us don't really have the same opportunities to shop at farm stands or grow our own vegetables. And so we're indoors a lot and protected from nature, and we don't get the benefits and the gifts and the magic that nature has in store for us. So if you can, get out there and get dirty. Yeah, you can tell everyone that Reverend Lisa told you to get out there and get dirty, and go in the garden or the forest or the park or wherever there's dirt, and put your hands and feet in it and feel the earth. Make sure it's safe and that there's no human trash or poison oak or anything that could harm you. And then just dig in and befriend our lovely bacteria, Mycobacterium vaccae. Okay, one last thing before we review. Magic is everywhere. There is even magic in poison. Seriously. There is magic even in poison. Homeopathic medicine has remedies made out of poison, like arsenic. Of course, the poison is extremely diluted. It's diluted to the point where the actual arsenic doesn't really exist in the water anymore, but it's not detectable, but it has left its signature or its vibration in the medicine, in the water, in the sometimes you get homeopathic medicine in a pill form. It's left its vibration there. Isn't that amazing? And this is scientifically proven to work. It's got the vibration in there, and it cures things like digestive disorders. It helps with sleep issues. Can you imagine? You take poison, usually you just, you'll be sleeping for good, but this helps with sleep disorders and food poisoning, right? A poison helps with food poisoning, and it helps with depressions and allergies and more. So anyway, there are so many magical things to explore in our minds and in our hearts and in our world. And magic happens within and it happens out here. And to tune in to the magic within, and that's where we have to start. We collect our scattered attention through meditation, through prayer, through art, through music, anything that lifts us into a higher vibration and focuses our attention. Magic is everywhere in our world, in our homes, right under our noses, in our animal companions. They will bring us fully present to the moment, no problem, because that's where they live. They live in the present. In nature, in our ability to listen to others, in our ability to listen deeply to the infinite intelligence of the universe, listening and paying attention in nature, listening. Stop talking. Stop following the endless narration in your mind, in your head, and listen. Breathe and listen. Let us pray. Betty will bring us into prayer.
Thank you, Reverend Lisa, for that wonderful